I am the Highland Scribe, scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen. Come closer, closer still. You see, the fire's warm, but this tale tonight, well, this tale runs wild. Now, this is the last chapter in the Wulver series, and it is called The Amulet. Now, Elspeth, well, she never left that wee crofty of hers. Years began turning quietly over the hills, like mist does over the lochs, gentle but sure. The world changed beyond the stone walls and the heathered moors, but she remained an anchor to the place where her life had been broken open like a seed. She never married, never took a lover, but she did not live in sorrow. You see, each morning she would walk, first with strong feet, then with a staff, and later, well, her steps began to become more slower, to the place where she and Brann once met, the standing stone. It was now half covered in moss, but it watched her approach like an old friend. She would rest there, hand pressed to the cool granite, and she would speak softly, not so much like a prayer, not a confession, just remembrance. Because even when the world moved on, he had not. She could still feel him, like breath on the wind, like warmth in the stone. And on certain mornings, the loch would just mist, just right. And she could swear she saw the shape of a tall man just beyond the tree lines. She never looked away. She never blinked. She would just smile, and she would say, "No yet, laddie. I'm no ready. No yet." And in the quiet years of her old age, the travelling folk came again, with their wagons and their bells on their ponies and laughter in the air, and they camped near the edge o' her land, no far frae the corpse of the trees. And with them came a woman Elspeth had not seen since childhood. Like herself, she was older now, silver braids still in her hair, but it was unmistakable. "Your grandmother tried to warn me," Elspeth said to her, smiling thinly. "Och, but I didna listen." "You listened well enough," the woman replied, taking her by the hand. "But the thread, well, it had already been pulled." It was on that visit that the girl came. She was young and wild-haired, curious eyes, and her name was Mary. She crept into Elspeth's garden as if she was following the scent of a story. "What's that?" she asked one day, pointing to the amulet at Elspeth's throat that she now had on a leather tow. "Oh," Elspeth said, patting it fondly. "Oh, lass, that's an awful long story." Mary smirked. "I like long stories," she said. And over the years, the girl returned, with the wagons, sometimes without, through the rain, summer, the frost, and she listened. Oh, she listened as Elspeth spoke o' the lochs and the laws, o' the shadows and stones of a Wulver named Brann who walked beside a girl without speaking. She learned of the Court of the 13, of Farith with the snow-white fur and eyes as blue as the sea. She learned what it meant to love something that the world just didn't understand. Mary listened to every word as if it were scriptures. And well, Elspeth loved her for it. On her final summer, Mary came alone. She was 18 now, a young woman, sun-kissed and strong. She brought fresh bread and a rowan for the windies and her grandmother's silver comb. Elspeth was sat in her chair by the fire. Her skin now felt like paper, her voice barely a breath. "Do you want to hear it again?" she asked, smiling. Mary took her by the hand. "Aye, always." And so Elspeth told it, from the beginning to the end, her voice growing softer, as if the story was the very thing that was holding her together. And the final word, she reached towards her chest. She removed the amulet and she held it out. "Oh, lass, it's just a stone now," she said, "but it remembers." Mary took it, her hands shaking. "I ask this, lass. Carry my story," Elspeth whispered. "Oh, pass it down your line. Let mine and Brann's story live through your folk. And when the time comes," she added, "breathe now a flicker. Bury me beside the loch, please, under the stone where we first met." Mary's tears fell freely. "Aye, I promise. I will." And she did. They came with spades and flowers and songs that were sung low. The village turned out. Well, those that remembered, and those who only knew the tale. Mary wore the amulet around her neck. They lay Elspeth to rest beneath that standing stone, wrapped in linen and her face towards the sky. And when all had turned to leave, Mary remained. Her heart was broken. The wind began picking up. It blew her beautiful curls around everywhere. But as she stood there, just looking at the stone, her eyes were caught towards the tree line. And there, the mist had begun. But something was half in the shadow, and she saw her. She saw Elspeth. But she was young again, barefoot, and she was laughing, running towards the woods. And from them, a tall figure stepped forward, wolf-headed, golden-eyed, fur the colour of storm clouds. Mary gasped. "Brann?" He held out his hand. and she flew into his arms. Together, they walked off into the trees. Well, the forest folded around them like a mother's arms, and the mist followed, and then they were gone. And how do I ken this story? Well, my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother was Mary. And what happened to the amulet? Well, let's just say that's a story for another day. I am the Highland Scribe, scribe to the stones, to the winds, to the bloodlines that walk unseen, and until the candle lights again, sleep tight, wanderers.